Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Casty. If it's not, thanks for always tuning into my videos. Today's video is a recommendation list full of what I like to call action-packed, fast-paced, epic battle scene books. Very long title. In September, I am co-hosting and participating in a readathon called Battleathon. This is created by Melanie Reads. I will link the announcement video and Mel's channel down below. I am co-hosting Team Red, and what this means is that you are bonding to a red dragon, and then we are going to battle it out for first place, second place, third place, fourth place, but it is bracket style, so like a sports game. So we're facing off against people in other placements and other teams in order to continue on in the bracket. It's really cool, epic. You should definitely check it out. But the first week of Battleathon is about picking your team and bonding with your dragon because it's all dragon themed. And if you join my team, the obvious winner and the best team, your prompt to bond with the red dragons is a book that features a battle. Now, Mel has been pretty loose about what this means. She said it could be any kind of conflict, but if you are a fantasy reader like me, I have some recommendations for you. These are specifically action-packed and fast-paced. I'm talking books that have battle after battle after battle, but in a fun way, and that their story is constantly moving. Not necessarily some military fantasies, because I already do have a recommendation list on my channel for military recs, and I don't have enough books to update that yet, so you could definitely go check it out if you're just looking for military books. I know some things on that are like the Legacy trilogy, which definitely has an epic battle, but not in the terms of what I'm looking for today, which is like lots of little battles and action-packed. I feel like that was a really long intro, so let's just get right on into the video. And if you aren't joining Team Red, that's okay. I hope you find some recommendations, but just so you know, you are going down in September. Let's start with what probably started this list. It's one of my favorites, and something I adore about this book is how fast-paced it is and how there's always action happening. And I know that there's lots of tiny battles in this entire trilogy, so you could count the entire trilogy for this prompt, but that is the Burning Blade and Silver Eye trilogy by Django Wexler. This starts with Ashes of the Sun, goes to Blood of the Chosen, and then Emperor of Rune, and all three are incredible favorites of mine and all-time favorite series. In this book, we're following two characters who are siblings, and they were separated when they were quite young. Maya ended up with a gift, and she ends up being taken away by the Empire, ends up working for the Empire for the foreseeable future, and Geyer, who did not like what the Empire did to his family, pulling it apart, and he ends up growing up trying to rebel and lead a revolution against the Empire. So now we have two siblings who are on opposite sides of the battle and the fight, and where their loyalty lies gets a little bit messy throughout the story, and honestly just so cool and such a unique world. This is a fantasy book that blends sci-fi. Lots of my friends like to call it gay fantasy Star Wars. There is a sapphic relationship in this. It is so fast-paced, but with amazing, amazing characters. So if you sometimes worry that fast-paced books lead to you not having those character moments that slow-paced books do, still check this out because this has some of my all-time favorite characters. Django Wexler writes really, really strong characters who you're rooting for and yelling at, and I absolutely love, love, love this series and highly recommend it for anyone who is looking for something fun and unique because the world in this is really cool. The magic system revolves around something similar to the Force. This is why we call it gay fantasy Star Wars. There is cool magic on the other side of the world too, and it's just like really fun. Definitely highly recommend this one. The next one is also a very popular book, but if you haven't read it, this is the perfect time because it definitely fits this prompt, and the entire trilogy also fits the prompt. I still haven't read the third book. I need to do that, but it is the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. This starts with Jade City. This is kind of a mafia style story. It is filled with lots of really cool battle scenes, and Fonda Lee is a black belt in Taekwondo, so they are written very, very, very well. We are following a family of gang rulers, essentially, who deal in jade, and jade is a substance in this world that when you have it, you can be stronger, but you can overdose on jade, and some people can last the effects longer than other people, and we have a really cool political style story happening in here between the two gangs of Janloon and them fighting over turfs and fighting over jade and just like rooting for a family that is a morally gray family. It's a family that is doing things that you probably think are wrong, like killing people, but you see it all through their eyes and you really embrace what they're doing and you're really rooting for them. I think that this story works really, really well for this prompt. You're going to have a lot of epic battle scenes within it, and as I said, they're written so well. Definitely, if you haven't checked it out, read the Greenbone Saga. A new and recent addition to some of my favorite books that fits this really well is Combat Codes by Alexander Darwin. Just like Fonda Lee, Alexander Darwin knows fight scenes. He is a master at jiu-jitsu, and it shows in this story and in the writing and in the unique tale of this story, because it really focuses on the respect that people have for battle within jiu-jitsu. My boyfriend's brother is actually really good at jiu-jitsu. Took it like all his life and teaches it now. So this was done really well in my opinion, and what jiu-jitsu stands for, it comes across in this, and I think the battle scenes are done really well, and you're constantly like learning about how jiu-jitsu works and techniques and stuff like that, which I thought was really fun. We all love a really well-written battle scene. When you read a battle scene, sometimes you're like, that doesn't seem possible. In this, I knew everything was possible because I could trust Alexander Darwin to teach me why this was possible. And I really enjoyed that. Combat Codes has 2 POVs in it. We're following an older POV who was a retired griever knight. What this means is in this world, any conflict is resolved through fighting. So let's say one nation wants to take territory from another nation. They put their 2 knights into a battle ring and they fight it out. And whoever wins takes that piece of land. So everything is done through combat and fighting, and of course you have to follow the combat codes. We're following this knight as he tries to find someone to live up to what he thought knights should be, to what he was taught knights should be, because as years have gone by, there has been greed and corruption into the whole system, and we're really straying away from the combat codes. We follow then our younger POV who is found by this knight and is put into an academy to train to be a griever knight. There is a bit of a mystery to his past and how he knows all these things because he doesn't really remember a lot, and it's just a really interesting story. I think it was very unique. I really liked the magic system in this. It is science-based again. In this, the magic revolves around the actual spots where the fighting, like the fighting rings, those are made of different alloys, and the different alloys attract different spectrals, and the different spectrals, when their light is on you, affect your mind. So some can give you confidence, some can make you more creative, some can make you more perceptible to the people chanting around you and to what people are telling you to do. And I thought that was really unique and interesting and really subtle. I really enjoyed this story. I read it recently, highly recommending it. And obviously there is a lot of combat in this, so it's a really epic, fast-paced battle. Another new one that I enjoyed recently, I feel like this is kind of a spoiler for an upcoming video because I haven't actually talked about this book yet on my channel, but it is Pawn's Gambit by Rob J. Hayes. In this story, we're following a world where gods rule over heaven, but only one rules over heaven. Every hundreds of years, the gods put themselves into this game where the winner of the game ends up then being the next ruler of heaven for so long and getting to do what they want to Earth. In order to play this game, they don't actually play, they pick champions on Earth to play for them, and we are following our main character who ends up being a champion for one of the gods as she kind of goes on it's kind of like a giant game of hide and go seek, a scavenger hunt, and capture the flag all put together in my opinion. And I really enjoyed it. The battles in this aren't always like fist battles or sword battles, but sometimes they're battles of the mind, but there's a lot of them because we're essentially following our character as we go from point A to point B to point C to point D to collect these things for this like scavenger hunt style game. And often we're battling up against other people's champions and things like that. I still think this counts as something fast-paced with a lot of conflict/battles in it. Just maybe not the battles that you're thinking of when I say battle, but definitely more like mind battles, which I thought was really cool. Another recommendation, I don't actually own book 1. I really need to get my hands on book 1 because I talk about this book so often on my channel. Rage of Dragons, or the Burning series by Evan Winter. I think Rage of Dragons specifically counts. I would say The Fires of Vengeance also counts. This is book 2 in the series, the first one being Rage of Dragons. This is a military academy school, and we see them fight all the time as they're training to become better soldiers in this world. We're following Tao, who is of a lesser race in this world, and when something happens, he ends up trying to go prove himself as someone who is on the same playing field as everyone else. He's trying to tell them that just because they see him as lesser. He's not actually lesser, obviously, and he is proving time and time again that he can do the things that they can do. It is a journey for revenge, and I really, really enjoyed it. As I say, like, we're seeing so many battle scenes because it's just constant training in this, especially in the underground world. There's like a world beneath our world that is really, really cool, and the battles that happen in that I think are awesome. The magic system in this I thought was really cool. It does revolve around dragons, but dragons aren't really a big part of this story, even though they do affect the magic system in a lot of ways. I love this series. It is not finished yet. I've only read 1 and 2, still waiting on book 3. This, when it's finished, will be one of my all-time favorite series, and I do not see it leaving that spot for anything. I love this series. If you have not read the Burning series, please read it, and Battleathon, the perfect time to read it for the battle prompts, and the audiobook is absolutely incredible. The next book on this list I do not own, and it is going to be The Collarbound. This one is a little bit slower paced than what I think the other stories in this group are, but still I think is a fast-paced story. In this, we're following our main character who is collarbound. What this means is he has a collar on him that makes him a slave and controllable by his master. However, his collar is actually broken, but other people don't know that, which I think adds just like this really fun element to the story where he can get away with things because people think that he's collar bound and don't know his collar is broken. It's really cool. But in this world, what makes it perfect for this prompt is that they go on mind battles. So the magic system in this all happens within your mind. They will go into someone else's mind because someone will be like the stage, and there'll be two people fighting against each other using their brains, essentially. What you can think of, you can do within these like mind battles, and it's really cool and really epic. We see multiple battles throughout this story. I really enjoyed this. I read it in January. It was my first 5-star book of the year. Absolutely adored this one, and I need more people to read it. So if you like the idea of like mind battles, pretty awesome. It also does have a school setting, and we're setting up quite a bunch of politics within this. The second book did recently come out in the UK. It's not out in the US yet, I don't think, but I have to get my hands on that. I need to read it soon. So I hope you enjoy this one. The next one, I can't lie, I'm putting the entire series on the list. I know for sure books 2 and 3 fall into this category, but I don't remember where the line is drawn in book 1 and if it happens in book 1, but it's the Winnowing Flame trilogy by Jen Williams. I have really fond memories of this series now, and in this series, we're following a world where every couple years, aliens rain down on the planet and try to destroy it. Like, try to eat everything on it, get rid of it, nothing can live. But we have these vampire-like beings and their animal companions that come and save the day and save the human race again and again and again. But something happened in the last reign, and the vampires are dying off. We have not seen those animal companions, and we also haven't seen a reign in a while, but we're expecting the 9th reign to come. Who is going to save humanity? We don't know. As I said, the second and the third book definitely have a bunch of battles in them. We see the animal companions in the story battle like crazy. We see the vampire-like beings battle against things. There's witch magic in this that we see battled in the second and third for sure. I just don't remember how epic it, like, I know there's a battle in this, 100% there's a battle, so you can count it as a prompt. I just am not sure how, like, many battles happen in order to fit into, like, this list in book 1, but book 2 and 3 definitely fit into the fast-paced battle story. So I'm just going to put the entire series on and hope that people read it, because I think that this is, again, one of the most unique stories I've read. It is hybrid. It has a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of sci-fi, and a little bit of horror all added into it. It is a really cool world, and I really enjoyed this. I hope you should read it. The second book is when the animal companions come into play too. They are actually my favorite animal companions I have read yet, so definitely check this one out. Then we also have the Runa King series by Jen Lyons, which all of these books are fast-paced, full of battle, so all 5 of them definitely count for this prompt. In this series, oh god, I hate explaining the series. This is the second book, The Name of All Things. The Runa Kings is at my sister's house, but the whole series counts. In this series, we're following Kieran, who finds out that he's actually the son of a political family. He doesn't want to be the son of this political family, and he's trying to run away. But little does he know, because of this, there are so many other people who want him and want to use him for their own gain. So we're just seeing a bunch of different people come and try to use Kieran as a pawn. There's also something happening with like demons and gods. This book is so fast-paced, and it's told in such a unique way, in my opinion, which makes it such a fun read. And so, like, they're chunky, but like, I flew through them. You will too. They are addicting to read. There are 2 timelines in this. We're following Kieran, who is telling his story, and then we follow a demon named Talon who says, no, your story didn't start there, it actually started here, and she's telling his story from a later point. Eventually these points do meet up, and also we have a overarching narrator who is kind of commenting on the story as it goes, which is a lot of fun. Highly recommend the audio for these. They're done really, really well. The narrators do a fantastic job, and I definitely recommend the first 3 books in this series. I have not read the 4th or the 5th yet, but I do know that all 5 of them would count for this prompt and for this theme. And the last one I'm going to throw out is a sequel that the first book, in my opinion, wouldn't count, but the second one definitely does, and it is God's Grave by J. Kristoff. This is the second book in the Nevernight trilogy, or Nevernight Chronicles. This one, we follow our main character who ends up in a stadium where she has to fight for her life every single day. So it's a bunch of epic battles. It is pretty fast paced. Nevernight definitely has a conflict in it, so if you are trying just to fill the prompt for Battleathon, Nevernight would count, but if you're looking for recommendations of like fast paced epic battles, this one counts, and Nevernight I don't think counts for like this recommendation list, but definitely recommend Nevernight. There we go. Those are my fast paced, battle filled recommendations for you. This is such a, I don't know what I'm gonna brand this video as, but I really just wanted to shout out about like this style of book because I really enjoy it and I need more books like this. So if you have any recommendations for me, let me know in the comments down below. I love lots of battles, fast-paced, good characters, and a really cool, unique world I normally find that they have. So yeah, very excited. Let me know any recommendations down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a cloud emoji. And then if you want to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon are all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.